This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we are at Super Bowl Media Day. Yes, that's right. We are going to be here throughout the week, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We are going to have you covered on all the news, rumors, any kind of quotes that you could want going on for your favorite team. It's all going to be here on Media Day, and it's all going to be here on Seahawks Today. So today we're going out, and obviously I think a lot of the conversation was going to be around Riq Woolen and just kind of how he was handling some of the situation after having a very good game, but again having a mistake that clearly cost the Seattle Seahawks, right? He ends up getting a taunting penalty, which I still think is ridiculous. We're going to flag people for mean words. This is football. It's a gladiator sport. I digress. He ends up getting burned the next play and ends up giving up a touchdown. I had a chance to kind of catch up with him today, and while unfortunately the audio isn't the best, I can repeat that he was in very good spirits. It felt like Riq Woolen understood the moment. He understood that you have to have a short mindset, the mindset of a goldfish when you're at cornerback, because if you make a mistake, those things happen. You fix it and you move on. I asked him specifically because we know that I have talked with Riq Woolen or tweeted about Riq Woolen's potential to stay in Seattle, being a free agent this year. He said that he'd love to be in Seattle and that he loves the 12s because of how they treat his family. But at the end of the day, it is still a business in the National Football League. I hope that Mike Macdonald and John Schneider end up keeping him around. When you look at the media day today, it was a little bit less packed when it came to the Seahawks, and I think that's exactly what the Seahawks want out here. This is the team that was supposed to finish last in the NFC West. This was the team that wasn't supposed to be good all year long. I don't think that anyone really gave this Seahawks team any credit until probably Week 18 when they went into San Francisco and they won handily. Obviously, Sam Darnold is getting some questions today about how he was handling kind of the excitement. I felt like he looked like he was locked in. He was ready to go. He understood what the assignment was and that this is still a work week. You can hear the 12s right behind me, and I freaking love it. Look at them go crazy right now, and guess who they're cheering on? The cornerback that I was talking about the most, Riq freaking Woolen. We love him and we do want him to stay in Seattle. I got to have a conversation with Jaron Reed today when he was at the mic, and I just asked him about what it's like to be the veteran now. Obviously, he was one of the young players during the kind of the tail end of the Legion of Boom era. Now he's one of the top dogs, one of the old heads. What Reed said is that he loved getting to learn from guys like Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett. They taught him how to be a pro's pro. They taught him how to attack opposing offensive lines, and he's now getting to share that information back with the rest of his teammates. We talked with Reed about what players did he like to watch. Well, of course he's going to say Byron Murphy, and of course he's going to say Leonard Williams. But when it comes to an all-time player to watch, he loved watching James Harrison. Why? Because that dude was freaking mean and he constantly got into the backfield. I was very impressed with everything that he had to say. Mike Macdonald was his usual very serious self, and then randomly he'd have a little bit of a smile every now and again. There was someone who was bringing around a ham little trophy, I guess is what you would call it, and Macdonald, of course, said, "Hey, is there a ring in there? Is that ham for Sam?" He was having a good time, but at the same time being his stoic self, obviously understanding the gravity of the moment and what it was going to take to win the Super Bowl. Just some other quick news and notes that I noticed as I was walking around. A lot of love to the offensive linemen. I saw Charles Cross having a lot of conversations. I saw Jalen Sundell having a lot of conversations. Abe Lucas having a lot of conversations, and they deserve that. They are the unsung heroes of this football team. And so the fact that they are getting the love, they are having the conversations around them, that is always going to be a huge thing. Of course, a lot of conversation around Clint Kubiak, and yes, I did kind of save the best for last. Now, he's obviously not going to come out and say, yes, he's ready to go on and coach the Las Vegas Raiders, because his focus is here on the Seattle Seahawks. And I think that was clear from all of the conversations that we had with a multitude of different coaches and players for the Seahawks. Now, what is most important about Kubiak is, can he block out the rest of the noise? Now, he's going to have to build a staff around him. So there has been a conversation. Could a coach like Aiden Dirty, who has taken over the defensive coordinator position for the Seattle Seahawks this year, Could he potentially go to Las Vegas with him? Dirty was very mum on that point, as were a couple of the other coaches that were on the staff. Of course, Janako being one, Jake Peets being someone that could very easily end up staying in Seattle as well. Or he could go with Kubiak. Right now, I'll tell you this. It seemed like when I watched the New England Patriots come out, and I did interview a couple of those players, they were very excited to be here. There were some nerves. When I looked at the Seahawks team, this was a Seahawks team that meant business. A lot of the players came on with sunglasses, not because they were too cool, but because it felt like they were too badass to be here. I almost felt bad for the Nickelodeon crew that was having to come up and interview the players because they were scary. I was nervous going up and talking to some of these players. It was a locked-in focus, attention to detail. Remember what they say about the Legion of Boom. It's a great little quote from Joe Buck. He said that after he went in and he interviewed Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, and Richard Sherman and the rest of that Legion of Boom, he knew that they were going to win the Super Bowl in New York. That's the type of attitude that I felt like Seattle had today. It felt like the rest of the team, as they were walking out ready to go, they were a team on a mission. Almost like they had a mission over all the other BS that we talk about. Might be a great time to go and grab that mob mentality t-shirt if you can. If you can hear them now, they're loving up on their special teams coordinator. That, of course, is Jay Harbaugh. There's a lot of love going on with Jake Bobo as well. Just a fun day. A very fun day to be here indeed. Very excited for all the coverage that we're going to have. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We're now going to splice in a couple of the interview clips that we got today with a couple of different players as well as coaches. So I hope that you guys enjoy that. But most importantly, I cannot wait for the rest of the coverage we have this week. You're not going to want to miss it.
You've been around this league for such a long time, and you've really been around so many defenses as well. What makes Mike Macdonald, and what leads to his defense being so good?
Well, obviously, when you look at the way our guys have played here, and then you look at his defenses in Baltimore, there's some similarities. I mean, it's a smart, tough, athletic group. He's translated that from Baltimore to Seattle. You see remnants of himself in our defense. I mean, guys that are really smart, that really play hard. But his ability to be able to have a feel for the way the game is going and to be able to make the right call at the right time, that's unique. And he does a great job of studying and preparing. But he has an innate ability to be able to recognize the direction that the game is going to make the right call in the right moment. And that's a unique talent. But it goes back to his preparation.
Last two games against Kyle Shanahan, Niners didn't score a touchdown. Why do you think he's successful against Kyle of late?
I don't want to put it just with Kyle. I mean, there have been so many other teams that we've played really well as a defense against. There's just some teams you match up with better than others. And there have been some teams, the Rams, for instance, that really make it hard for us. So it's more about the opponent and how we match up than it is Kyle Shanahan or some other head coach or play caller. It's more about the team in itself.
Yeah, I think the fear factor comes into play is like you want to make sure you're doing everything that you can possibly be doing because one, he's an unbelievable coach, and two, he's just such an elite competitor as well. Like he wants to win at everything. I think that's the coolest thing about playing for him is understanding he's a guy that wants to win. He doesn't accept anything else. So I think Mike's just an unbelievable coach to play for. I'm super fortunate that I'm playing for him.
I think just the way Mike is every day, he doesn't change. He's the same guy, regardless of the situation. And I think for us, that locker room is full of a bunch of men that love football, and nobody loves football more than Mike. So he's just imprinted just a hard work, but just regardless of whatever the situation is, keep going. And that's left a lasting impact on me too.
Good to see you. Hey, you've been in this league for a little bit, and you're here now. Can you give us someone in your past that you played with that talked about and prepared you, helped prepare you for these moments?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll revert back to the two guys that I know very well is Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill. You know, those two guys definitely, helped me grow to where I'm at now and prepare me for this moment. You know, I seen them last week at the NFC Championship game, and it was like just a whole full circle moment. They just told me how proud they were of me, especially like being one of the leaders on the team now. Because I remember when I came in as a young pup, those guys just helping me grow into a better man, into a better player.
Hey man, you need doubters, you need haters, you need those people in your corner just as much as you need supporters. Because without the doubters, then you'll never, question yourself, and questioning yourself is actually good, because now, it helps you trickle down to, all right, what is the end goal, and, when those doubters started questioning me, it's like, all right, now we got to see if, this can really, happen. And, when I seen the type of group that we had at training camp, I was like, all right, it's showtime.
Yeah, I think there's many discussions about let's be the reason why on this team. There's going to be games throughout the season where we're going to have to put the game on our back and go have a long drive and be able to run the ball and run clock out and stuff. And I think the big thing was our coach, John Benton, coming into our offensive line room and kind of instilling the mentality aspect of football. The mentality of whatever it takes to make sure your quarterback stays clean, or whatever it takes to make sure we get a first down, or whatever it takes for a running back to have 100 yards rushing in a game. So I think mentality is a huge thing that we kind of preached this past year, and I think we've done a good job with it.
Oh man, he's brought a sense of just flavor. That London accent. He gets us dialed into the games, man. He's truly in there with Mike all day, just making sure we're ready. But AD brings out a different side and that he's able to just really get us pumped up for the games. He's able to talk to us in a different way that Mike doesn't do. So it's just yin and yang. They bring some, different things, but it all works in together. The similarities, I think the way we play the game, in their game they could do a lot more. They could be really physical. In our game, we're kind of not able to do as much, but I think we bring a great level of physicality that they bring. Great attention to details. Like, in a sense, they didn't do much defensively, schematically. We don't really, do anything crazy, but we're able to take what we do and do it better than most. So I think that's where we compare. But ultimately, man, that defense they were cold. They were really good. And in our own right, we're building something, for ourselves.